Yo, what is going on, guys? Flashverse here, and welcome back to another video on The Flash Season 7. Now, a lot of you guys would have heard me say this in the past in previous videos, especially those who have recently subscribed to the channel. They may be confused by this, but you guys would have heard me mention that I've had this Eddie Thawne Godspeed theory, and I have done several different types of videos on this in the past, but the new subscribers obviously wouldn't have been aware of this, and in my eyes, this theory makes a lot of sense. But this will be my updated version of that Eddie Thawne Godspeed theory, where I will add on a lot more detail than before and a lot more speculation compared to before, and the possibility of Eddie potentially being Godspeed. But before I go over anything, however, you guys don't forget to drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel so you are aware of more Arrowverse content coming your way. Now, obviously we know that after the Mirror Master story arc, Godspeed will be our main antagonist going into The Flash Season 7. So yeah, we will finally have a main villain who challenges our Scarlet Speedster with the speed side of things since what, Season 3? So yeah, it's been a while. And obviously through various interviews we found out that this season was going to be heavily Speedster related, and thus having a Speedster antagonist fits perfectly with what they're going for. And in the comics, we obviously know that Godspeed's identity is not Eddie Thawne, it's August Hart. Now, the only issue with this going into the show is that we have already had August Hart. August Hart was the version of Godspeed that we saw during Season 5 Episode 18, which was the future-centered episode with Nora. That version of Godspeed was full-on confirmed to be August Hart. But then moving on to The Flash Season 6, we got introduced to the Godspeed clones. Now these guys have no identities at all, they're just simply Godspeed clones. So they are not August Harts, they are just Godspeed clones. But they were sent by someone to go after the Flash and take his speed. As during the ending of episode 18 of Season 6, we obviously got that mystery being established with the one who sent me wants infinite velocity. And that person sending these Godspeed clones is obviously the real Godspeed. And then obviously during DC Fandome, we had showrunner Eric Wallace teasing the main antagonist for The Flash Season 7, for the first half of The Flash Season 7. As he says, "I don't like spoilers, but let's just say there's a certain speedster with a white costume whose clones kept showing up, and Team Flash had to deal with that, but we never caught the real guy or girl. But let's just say we might find out that mystery this season." Godspeed, unlike the Reverse Flash, has no emotional connection, supposedly, to the Flash. So the question is, why is Godspeed angry at the Flash? Okay, so firstly, this pretty much confirms that the villain is Godspeed. But the fact that they're building this mystery shows that Godspeed will not be August Hart, because if he wasn't mysterious about it, you could just Google who Godspeed is and you'll get the answer that it's August Hart. So clearly they will change things up with the identity of Godspeed going into the show, so they actually have this built-in mystery in regards to who's under the mask and why they are after the Flash. And this shows that we will have some new storylines to explore with Godspeed, which we haven't seen in the comics before, and in a way make up some sort of rivalry with the Flash and find out his motivations, because Godspeed in the comics, he isn't a villain, he's an anti-hero, and he barely even has a rivalry with Barry Allen, whereas for the show, they're gonna build in this rivalry. And surely his motivations cannot be that he wants infinite velocity. There's got to be more of a reason to why he's obsessed with the Flash. And with the infinite velocity thing, with the stealing speed storyline, we've already had that with Zoom. So I don't think that they will do the same thing with Godspeed. Not to forget, Godspeed sent his clones to go after Barry Allen, specifically Barry Allen as well. Meaning the original Godspeed knows exactly that Barry Allen is the Flash, and he knows that Barry operates in Star Labs with Team Flash. And clearly this isn't August Hart, because we've never seen an interaction between August Hart and Barry Allen. So there's no way that he knows that Barry Allen is the Flash. So this Godspeed, who is our main villain for the first half of The Flash Season 7, used to be part of Team Flash and has this connection with Barry Allen. So I always thought Godspeed would have been Eddie Thawne due to these teasers. And if they weren't going to do Cobalt Blue, I thought that this would have been very, very interesting. Now, I will actually mention why I think Eddie is Godspeed, but also he does fit the criteria. He knows that Barry Allen is the Flash, and he did kind of have this jealousy with Barry, and so he could create this emotional attachment with that. And also Eddie Thawne knows that Barry Allen operates as the Flash in Star Labs as well. Now, the way that the Flash Season 7 synopsis also ties into all of this, it's great. And since they're trying to build this personal connection and rivalry between Barry Allen and Godspeed, obviously Godspeed will be someone we already know. And listen up to this. So the Flash Season 7 synopsis is, the Flash will ultimately defeat Mirror Master, but in doing so he will unleash an even more powerful and devastating threat on Central City, one that threatens to tear his team and his marriage apart. So from the Flash Season 7 synopsis, you can see that specifically mentioned that the villain, that obviously now being Godspeed, would not only tear Team Flash apart, but will also tear up his marriage apart. And the fact that it very specifically mentions Barry's marriage to Iris shows that there's a personal connection between the two. There's only one person who can get in the way of the West Allen relationship, Eddie Thawne. So they could do something like where the Flash would have been praised for everything Eddie did. Eddie could say that he was the hero of Central City during the Flash Season 1, and despite that, the Flash was praised by being the real hero and was always the one being remembered, whereas Eddie Thawne, on the other hand, he sacrificed himself to save the people he loved, but unlike the Flash, Eddie Thawne was forgotten about. So they would obviously explain how Eddie Thawne is still alive, and they could do something with that singularity where he gets sucked in and maybe like ends up in the future, but then how this fraud basically took all the credit. It would anger Eddie. But worst of all, Barry took everything Eddie once had, including Iris West. So this would build up an even more, like jealousy, rivalry between Barry and Eddie. So this would anger Eddie, even to a point where it forces him to put on a white costume and slowly starts taking revenge. But wait, I forgot to mention how Eddie will get speedster abilities in the Flash in the first place. Now obviously this is just speculation, this is by no means true and it probably will not happen, but Eddie Thawne is not a natural speedster, so he could use V9. But then during the Flash Season 5 episode 18, one detail to catch is, we have Nora going up to Eobard Thawne and she's begging Eobard for help. And Thawne was obviously denying her request, she's like, no, I'm not going to help you. But then we have Nora mentioning, Godspeed has stolen enough chemicals to create an extracellular matrix that replicates speed powers. The only thing that stops him from becoming a permanent speedster is a stabilizing agent. And during the episode we find out that this stabilizing agent is called the biometric converter. So through this, if a speedster that uses V9 comes across a stabilizing agent with the chemicals that they stolen in that episode, they could become a speedster permanently. So maybe Eddie Thawne could potentially do the same thing, I'm not entirely sure. And it won't be too hard for Eddie to take his revenge on Team Flash because he knows where to start. He knows Barry Allen is the Flash, he knows Barry Allen's friends, he knows where Barry Allen operates and how he operates because he's worked alongside him before. And he will use that to his advantage. As I said before, the way that the Flash Season 7 synopsis ties perfectly with this just works so well. Eddie in return would obviously start to tear up Team Flash apart. And then once that happens, he will tear up the marriage of Barry and Iris, which wouldn't be too hard since Iris's mind would have been like affected by the Mirrorverse by that point, I'm guessing, and eventually isolate Barry and then slowly break him until he reveals their identity right to his face. I think that would be very, very cool to see. But yeah guys, thanks for watching. If you guys have enjoyed the video, please give a like and subscribe. Tell me in the comment section down below what you guys think about this theory. But yeah, I will see you guys in my next video.